This next one here, it's an interesting one, man. Maalik Murphy, former Duke and Texas quarterback. Duke this past season had started a couple games at Texas in a relief role a couple of years ago, and then plays at Duke this year. Duke has a really successful season, 9 wins, first year under Coach Manny Diaz, and threw for almost 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns. When he entered the portal, I think there was a lot of speculation, like, man, is he looking for something bigger than Duke, better than Duke? Is it a money thing? Then we see Duke goes and gets Darian Mensah in what's being reported as maybe the biggest NIL deal ever for a quarterback. They're saying $8 million over 2 years. But that kind of made you think, were things being put in motion before Murphy entered the portal? You remember his gestures towards the Duke fans late in the season there after a big touchdown throw. So was the writing on the wall here? Because again, when he entered, you were thinking, man, is he looking for something else? Then you've seen how this thing's played out. Oregon State, a proud program, but obviously with everything that's been going on in the last couple of years, hasn't exactly been a prime landing spot for guys in the portal. So looking at this decision, number one, the way it's played out, you have to think that Duke had something kind of in the mix ready to go. And number two, your thoughts on this move for a guy who has shown a lot of arm talent, maybe hasn't put it all together, but the talent's there.
Yeah, I think, look, he could have stayed in the P4 just on ability. I think that to me is clear when you look at what he produced on a 9-win team in a Power 4 conference. I think he's betting on himself here and trying to say, listen, I can be the star of the show and produce just like I did at Duke. Oregon State was really not a very good passing team last year, 106th in the nation in yards per attempt. Trent Bray, obviously more of a defensive coach based on his background as a player and as a coach. So Murphy, I think, is just saying, listen, I can be the star of the show. I can win games. Maybe he does something similar to what like a John Mateer did last year, not necessarily saying he's going to use this as a springboard for another transfer, but just to say, hey, I can win games at this level, kind of in limbo here, like Washington State and Oregon State are, but I can win games. I can show my individual ability and help my team win games in a way that you can't say, hey, like a Duke, we're winning because of defense and turnovers, right? If he's winning games at Oregon State, where Oregon State is now, and putting up numbers, you're going to say, wow, this is a player that can elevate the players around him. He has the arm strength. He has the size. I think from an Oregon State standpoint, this is an absolute home run. If you can build, a defense, forget the offense improving. If you can get the defense playing at the level you need it to, he can win you games by managing the game on top of anything else he does. You saw him do that at Duke. So I think that's part of it too, is it's not just, is he going to go to Oregon State and put up numbers? That might be tougher than some other opportunities he had, but can he go to Oregon State and win ball games? That to me is going to depend a lot on the defense. Just looking at yards per play, Oregon State 124th in yards per play allowed by its opponent. So this defense needs to get right beyond anything Maalik Murphy will do. But if the defense can take a leap, certainly I think the quarterback position is such that he'll be able to manage games and win. But Oregon State's got a lot of work to do, both in the passing game and on the defensive side of the ball. You're at least helping that side of it with the Maalik Murphy.
Yeah, and you look at him. He won his couple starts at Texas in a reserve role there, 9-3 this year. So, yes, is he a perfect quarterback? I don't think anyone's saying that. But at the end of the day, he's a guy who's proven he can win, and the upside's there. So, a lot of times with these guys that you say, well, you can win the game with them. They're game managers. You're saying, man, they don't have the arm strength. They can't push the ball downfield. I think there's some stuff in the passing game where he does leave some things to be desired, but at the same time, I like that combination of the big arm, the big playability, but at the same time, he's shown the ability to win you games.
Yeah, look, some of these losses, you look at Nevada, you lose by 5. You look at UNLV losing by 8. You look at San Jose State losing by 11. These are games that if you have a better quarterback like a Maalik Murphy, you could turn those around. And then you're right there with Washington State as an 8-win, potentially a 9-win team and playing in a bowl. So interesting position for Oregon State, definitely in limbo. But to me, Maalik Murphy going to Oregon State saying, I want to be the star of the show, I want to be the face of this turnaround.
Without a doubt. So that's going to be a fun one to track. Oregon State, they've been looking for some stability over the last few years, been losing a lot of good players, but I think it's a good fit for both, and he has something to prove also, after I think the way things ended there at Duke. So should be fun to watch Maalik Murphy at Oregon State this year.